Hey there, it's your friend Josie, and today I want to talk to you all about the gel plate. A gel plate is a printmaking tool that you can buy. It's this squishy, spongy, kind of clear, plasticky thing. It's hard to describe, that you can put paints on it and then objects or imprints or stencils, and then you press a piece of paper on it and you will get a monoprint. And there's different things you can do. I mean, so many things you can do with a gel plate. I never come across it. I've been an artist for a bajillion years. I've taken printmaking classes at a college, but I had never encountered a gel plate. So when I started working with this gel plate, I was just completely in love. And so today what I want to talk about is how you can do one of my favorite things, which is to make botanical impressions with the gel plate. And it's so simple and so easy to do. You just have to collect some leaves or flowers from your garden, and you have to have some paint handy. You have to have paper and something called a Brayer, which is this little roller that'll make it a lot easier. The gel plates themselves are reusable and you can clean them very easily. You can actually make them yourself. I've never really tried it, but when you make it yourself, they're perishable basically. So after a while, they'll start to mold. But the gel plates that you can buy from Amazon or in our supply store don't have any problems. They will last forever, and they're quite indestructible. I think they're pretty amazing. So let's dive into how to make some really cool botanical prints. So this first print I'm going to show you how to make is just a really simple but beautiful geranium leaf print. And I plucked these out of my back garden, and I had them all ready to go before I got started here. So you're going to see the beginning process. I'm using a slow dry golden paint. You can also use an acrylic paint with a retarder in it that will slow the process down a little bit. You can also just use heavy bodied acrylic paint right out of the tube, but I roll it out pretty thin, as you can see here with my little roller. And sometimes it just dries so fast that it's a little hard to manage. So I like to slow the drying process down just a teensy bit, either by using the slow dry paint or adding a retarder to the paint, and then you have to mix it up. You could see there that I had a little roller. Those are called a Brayer. Here are my geranium leaves. Of course, once you pick the leaf, they will start to dry up and curl up right away. So sometimes I'll stick their little stems in water or just assume I'm just going to get a single use out of these guys. And so you can see there that I kind of just like drop them down. Well, there I kind of like smudged it. But when you smudge it like that, it will affect the surface of your print. So you don't want to do that. You kind of want to put your things down and then not like mess with that wet paint too much, because what's interesting about this is that the gel plate is so sensitive that it will just pick up really any tiny little minuscule bit of detail that is on your hand or on the leaves that you're using or whatever. And so you can see here that I'm pulling I rubbed it well throughout the whole thing, and then I have the first print. But that isn't actually the print that I want. What I'm keen on getting is this ghost effect of, as you can see, as I'm removing the veiny geranium leaves, you can see that there's this delicate texture that is left on the print from where I pressed it down with that first print that I made. So then now I have to work pretty quickly because, like I said, the paint is starting to dry immediately and it's a really thin coat. So now I take a fresh piece of paper, and I'm just using, I think it's like a heavy bodied multi-purpose paper. I think I'm using an Excel mixed media paper in this case, and it works great for this. It's a nice texture. It's doesn't have too much tooth. It's fairly smooth. And so you can see I rubbed thoroughly throughout the gel plate to really capture all those beautiful leaf impressions. And I just think that one turned out so well. And so this one, I'm going to use the same thing. I'm going to use the geranium leaves, but I'm going to do this one a little bit different. So this one is like slightly more advanced perhaps. And the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to make a gradient. So instead of doing a solid color like the one we just did, I have picked, 4 colors. I think I mixed them off screen because I wanted them to be the exact colors that I want. And then I have a larger brayer here. It is a 11-inch brayer, I believe. And this big wide thing is really fun to work with. They're a little hard to find. I think it's an English company called Esdi that makes those big brayers. But I think I found mine on an art supply store website here in the States. Okay, so now I'm grabbing my geranium leaves again and carefully putting them down on my ombre. Now I have this nice gradient that I made. And once again, I want to work pretty fast and I don't want to mess with it. I don't want to mess with it too much. I just want to kind of plop them down and then let them lie and not readjust them, because the second anything touches that gel plate, it will start to take that impression and you'll be able to see those marks. And, this isn't an exact science. So you're going to, like what I just did there, you're going to have little imperfections, and that's part of it. I think that that's what makes art great, is when there's things that show the hand of the artist, that it didn't come out of a machine. It didn't come out of AI. It came out of a person that, wasn't doing everything exactly perfectly right. You can see that some of the leaves are kind of dangling over the side. That's just fine. And now I'm going to grab that mixed media paper and press it down. So when I try not to shift the paper. Once I put it down, I try to keep it in one solid spot. And then I'm pushing pretty hard here. So I'm really pushing it down. I want to make sure that every single part of the paper comes into contact with every part of both the leaves that I'm using there and then the entire gel plate. And now what I'm going to do is I don't want to move the paper away from the registration marks that I already have. I want to keep it in the same location. So I'm holding it down while I'm removing the leaves from one side. And you can get the same effect. There's some guides that you can use that will kind of keep your paper in one spot, or you can tape it down on one end. I've tried all of those things, but this works just fine for this sort of thing. So you can see that there's kind of a negative space print that I've already gotten where the leaves were blocking the gel plate. And now I'm removing those leaves and I'm pushing it down again. So now I'm doing the same thing. I'm pressing firmly. I want to make sure to capture every little bump and edge and detail that has been printed on the gel plate. And you can see how it peels off pretty cleanly. There's not that much really to even clean up. And there we go. There's a beautiful ombre leaf print that you could frame or use as collage or put it in a greeting card or just print something else on top of it. You can do anything you want. You can continue to print on the same page if you'd like. There's so many things that you can do with this. And I do